For a long time in my writing life, I just thought the one thing I really needed was more time. If only I had more money, or if only I had a little bit more motivation this week I could get more writing done. I'm going to walk you through the 7 things that we writers believe we need to succeed and show you why one thing matters more than all of those 7 things combined. So what is this one thing you need more than more time or more motivation or more money? It's mindset. Now don't roll your eyes. I can feel you doing that. Mindset is just something those new age gurus talk about, right? What I really need is tools and time and money and practical things to make my writing life the way that I want it to be. But here's what I've learned over the years and kind of the hard way. Mindset is the most important thing for a writer because mindset determines whether we succeed with the time we're given or whether we simply waste it waiting for the perfect conditions. So before you click away from this video and think, mindset's not my problem, my mindset is fine, I'm leaving, this isn't what I need, let me ask you this. Have you ever told yourself, once I have more time, or once I have more money, or if I just had more motivation, then I would have a successful writing life? If you've ever thought anything like that, you need to stay tuned to this video. I'm going to put mindset up against everything else that we think we need. Time, money, talent, motivation, all these things. And then in the end, you can decide what you think matters the most, okay? So the first thing, mindset versus time. Here's what we think. If I just had more time, I'd finally be able to write my book. Let me ask you if you've ever done this. You finally get a weekend free. There's nothing on the calendar. You can do whatever you want with it. What did you do? Did you actually sit down and write out 3 chapters of your novel? So many times I have thought that if I just had this long spread of time, open time, that I would get all this writing done. I never do. I get more writing done when I have like a quick half hour or an hour and that's it. I tend to get more writing done in that time than I do if I have some, long weekend to be able to devote to writing. I think most writers, this is what we find, that we actually perform better when we have structure, when we have limited time, when we know we have to get so much done in 30 minutes. So that comes back to mindset. If you have a mindset that you must have a free 48 hours or whatever it is to be able to get any writing done, well, how often are you really honestly going to get that 48 hours of time? Probably not very often. So that sort of mindset is setting you up for failure. So this whole idea that time is what we need, it's a fallacy. We all have time. We all have at least 15 minutes we can find somewhere in our schedules to fit the writing in. So it's just whether or not we have the mindset to take advantage of the time when it comes. Second thing that we believe we need is a lot of talent. I remember as a young writer, I thought, okay, well, I don't really know if I'm talented enough to be a successful writer. So we think we need this talent. We think if we're born with a certain amount of talent, then of course we'll be successful writers. But thinking that we need that talent to be successful. For years I was chasing validation from outside me. Someone to tell me, yes, Colleen, you're talented enough to be a successful writer. That's what I was looking for. But of course, nobody can tell you that because nobody can measure accurately the level of talent that you have. A mentor or a coach can help you build on your strengths and work on your weaknesses, but nobody can say to you, oh yeah, you do have enough talent to be a successful writer, or you don't have enough talent to be a successful writer, because at the end of the day, talent is not what makes the difference. We've seen through research that very talented people will not succeed if they don't have other qualities, like the ability to be consistent, like grit and determination, like the ability to persevere past challenges. These things matter so much more than talent. So it's a matter of taking what you have and working with it. It's the mindset of, I'm going to use my strengths and build on them and work on my weaknesses and become as good a writer as I possibly can be. That is a mindset. That is not talent. So mindset beats talent. Let's go on to number 3. All right, here's another thing we writers think. If only I had the right tools. I just need the right computer or the right software or the right tracking program or the right productivity app. That'll do it for me. And there's so many tools out there that we can spend a lot of time chasing them down and finding them and experimenting with them and seeing if they work. And, pretty soon a year's gone by and we haven't finished our book. Tools can help us to get things done in less time. They can help us to clarify our ideas. There are a lot of things that tools can do for us, but they can't help us finish the book necessarily if we don't have the right mindset. Mindset has to come first. So here's an example. Maybe you've downloaded this new app and it has all these bells and whistles that are going to help you be productive. There's goal tracking and timers and reminders and distraction blockers and everything you can imagine on these apps, and you're using them and they're working like they're supposed to. And you might feel motivated for a day or two to get your writing done because of this new app. But then what happens? Typically, after a week, after a month, after a year, are you still using that app? Or is it kind of like, dwindled away, your interest in it kind of faded, and then you're pretty much back to your old processes you were doing before, right? So the best tool you can have is a mind that wants to write, is a mind that's willing to work with what you have and get the writing done. Again, mindset trumps tools, because if you don't have the right mindset to get the writing done, it doesn't matter what tools you have. Right, number 4, the other thing we writers think we need is inspiration. I need to be properly inspired to get this story written. There's some truth in that. It really helps to be inspired. If you have a new idea that really lights you up, then you're much more likely to dive into your story feeling motivated and energized and to get those pages done. But inspiration does not trump mindset, because inspiration comes and goes. We all know this. Sometimes we feel inspired, and sometimes inspired is the very last thing we feel. It's not something you can rely on that's going to help you make your writing dreams come true. Whereas mindset, if you have a mindset that you're going to get the book written, even if you aren't inspired, then that mindset is going to help you build inspiration. So that mindset's going to say, you know what, I need to find inspiration for this story again because I'm blocked and I need to find a way to work around this issue. So I'm going to go to the museum, or I'm going to go to the art show, or I'm going to go to a downtown music concert. I'm going to inspire myself. I'm going to immerse myself in art, and I'm going to get this creative side of myself going again. That all comes from mindset. It all comes from the mindset of, this is up to me. I have to find a way to become inspired so I can get back to my story. Another thing that we writers think we need, and I was big time on this, is validation. If we get that validation, then everything is going to be great after that. If I just have a publisher accept my manuscript, or I just have an agent sign me on, or I just have an editor say that she really likes this story and she wants to publish it, or if I just self-publish it and I sell, however many copies, then I will have that validation, and then I will be fine after that. Life will be sweet. It'll be easy as pie. Okay, there is some truth to that, as there are to many of these. I chased validation. I got it in 3 traditional publishing contracts with 3 different publishers, and that made me feel good, and it did feel like validation, but it didn't make everything easy and great. Validation didn't solve everything. Mindset is what helps me to be my own best cheerleader. It reminds me that I have to be the one cheering myself on. The other thing is that validation can be quickly invalidated. Just get one bad review and you'll know what I'm talking about. You can have a publisher take on your story and put it out there, but then what if people don't review it very well? What if it doesn't sell as well as you hoped and you don't win your advance back? I mean, there's so many things that can happen that can invalidate that validation. And then you're back into feeling invalidated in some ways. So validation is not lasting. Mindset is. The next thing we think we need is motivation. And again, this is true. We do need to be motivated to work on our stuff, but motivation, like so many of these other things, is fleeting. Sometimes we feel motivated, sometimes we don't. So if we rely only on motivation, our progress is going to be very sporadic if we make progress at all. Motivation is essentially a feeling, an emotion. And typically it's tied to how I'm feeling that day, or what the circumstances are, or what has happened in my writing career that day can significantly affect whether I feel motivated to go do my writing work or not. So if I'm relying on motivation, then all these external circumstances are affecting what I do in my writing life. It's not really under my control. Whereas if I have a mindset that compels me to write and that helps and supports me in my writing life, that is more consistent. That's going to be there regardless. Mindset creates consistency no matter what the emotional weather is of your internal system. And the last one that we all think we need is money. And it's true. We need money to support our publishing efforts, to support our marketing efforts. Even if you're traditionally published, you need money to pay a lawyer to look over your contract. You need money to set up your website. You need money to create graphics or to do book promotions or whatever you do. We need money, but the thinking that we have to have money to succeed is only going to hold us back, because for many of us, it's financially challenging right now for umpteen reasons. If you're thinking that is stopping you from succeeding, that's going to make you feel really powerless. Your mindset, ultimately, still controls your behavior. The mindset, at the end of the day, is the driving force behind whatever your money might be able to do for you. after years of thinking I needed all these things, time, talent, money, to be able to succeed, I finally realized that waiting for all of those things or believing that I needed all those things to be able to get where I wanted to go was only holding me back. It was only keeping me stuck. What I really needed was just a different way to think about what I was doing. And that shift, that is mindset. How you think about your writing career and how you think about what you need to succeed is all wrapped up in mindset. So when I stopped waiting for the perfect conditions, and I still have to remind myself of this day, stop waiting for the perfect conditions, work with what you have. Then things always turn around every time I do that. So your mission of the week, should you choose to accept it, ask yourself this question. What do I believe I need before I can write? And what if that belief is actually holding me back? And if you realize you have been kind of waiting on one of these things, try flipping the script. Instead of asking, for example, how can I get more time to write? Ask yourself, how can I work with the time I already have, even if it's only 10 minutes? That's going to make you feel more empowered, and that's going to lead to action, which leads to motivation, which leads to momentum, which inevitably leads to success. So to dive deeper into this idea of how much mindset is controlling your writing career, you can check out my free writing mindset type quiz below. Then once you know your mindset type, you might want to ask yourself this question. How does my mindset type shape what I think I need in order to succeed? There might be a connection there that you could explore that would help open your eyes to some issues you hadn't seen before. So give it a try and let me know what you think. If you discover your writer mindset type, feel free to share it if you'd like, and let me know if you think that it fits you. And if you haven't watched the last video in this series, be sure to check out the video on the end screen coming up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.